Whether you're a beginner or you've actually been playing for a while, maybe you're not really sure how to activate your fingers for faster playing. And maybe you're even doubting whether this is that important of a skill in the first place. Well, I'll tell you this, without mastering the fingers, you'll struggle to play stronger, smoother doubles, faster and more intricate timekeeping, and you won't be able to obtain those strong hands that don't easily get tired during a gig. But don't worry, because I'll show you exactly how to do all of this and achieve all of this with 3 simple exercises you can do right now, even on a practice pad. You can do this. Hey, welcome to the Non-Glamorous Drummer. I'm so glad you're hanging out today. I help drummers become the musicians other people want to jam with and have in their bands. And we do this by teaching you the core drumming skills and non-glamorous skills that help you grow the fastest. And hey, speaking of fast growth, if you have a weak hand, I have a free gift for you today that's going to help you out a whole bunch. This is a total no-brainer. I want you to go grab right now. This is my 3 steps to eliminating your weak hand, totally free video mini course. So this is going to help you balance out your hands, get to where that weak hand is just as strong as your strong hand and just as fast. We examine the details of grip and fulcrum and motion and the hand-to-hand coordination, the mental aspect of it. If you have a weak hand, you absolutely must dive into this, because you can't proceed any further on the drums if you have a weak hand. Let's be honest. It's gonna hold you up, it's gonna trip you up and frustrate you, but it is a solvable issue. I want you to solve it. You can do this. Go dive into the free weak hand mini course. All the details are right there. The link is in the description below. Hope you'll join me there. All right, on with today's lesson. So the biggest struggle here is that building finger strength is kind of tricky. Getting that finger agility is tricky. If it were easy, everybody would have it, and if it were a natural skill that you're born with, then, well, you would have it, but it's not. It's something that everybody has to work on. No matter your talent level or whatever as a drummer, this is something you have to practice. But also kind of the more internal question that a lot of us end up asking is this really a critical skill? You know, maybe we've seen the videos of drummers just flying through quick singles with their fingers and everything, and it's like, okay, cool, that's great. I just want to play songs. Is this really an essential skill? Is this really something I need to learn? Well, yes, it is for a lot of reasons, and a big one. So back when I got started on the drums, I quickly realized my timekeeping was sloppy. Any kind of quick timekeeping I did, whether it was swing like this, something like that, or something like, or something like molar 16ths on the hats. Any kind of quick, intricate timekeeping you can think of, you name it. I was having a tough time with that. It was just sloppy until a really good teacher pointed out to me that my weakness was actually my fingers. Now, for me being a lefty, my left-hand fingers were actually doing pretty good, but my right-hand fingers not so much. And because the right-hand fingers were my weakness, that was actually inhibiting me from playing these quick timekeeping patterns smoothly, fluidly, and just with great timekeeping and pocket and feel. And so maybe that's you. Now, something else happened when I started working on the finger strengthening that this teacher pointed out to me. My doubles got better. My singles got more balanced. I was able to play more quickly and quietly with more nuance, and my doubles got stronger, and I also found that my hands were more even, and I wasn't getting as tired during a gig. These are all extremely beneficial things that I want you to have too, and that's why we're diving into this. So point is, yes, building finger strength and technique is important. That finger agility is so important, even if your plan is not to sit here and do this. There's a lot more to it than that, a lot more benefits, and these 3 action steps we're going through today are going to help you with this exactly. We're going to go through these finger strengthening exercises, and we're going to use that growing strength now in the context of doubles and singles, and I'll share with you a little of why is this so powerful, what can we do with this, where can we go next. This is going to be a lot of fun. So let's dive into the nitty-gritty action exercises here. And by the way, welcome to my living room. Normally, we would be doing if you're new to the channel and you're like, why are the drums set up in front of a fireplace? Normally, we're in the basement studio downstairs, but we're having some repairs done down there right now. And so it is uninhabitable. And so here I am in the living room. So I hope you enjoy the lovely backdrop of this mantle and fireplace. I hope it looks nice on camera, because this is where we are for the next few lesson videos. Hey, we've got natural daylight. We got windows in here, which is cool, which is a lot of fun. All right, first action step we're going to take here. We're going to do the French grip exercise. So This is super simple, very straightforward, not difficult. It's just a matter of getting the form right, getting your grip right, and then just doing it and being patient with it and letting your strength, your finger strength build over time. So all we want to do is form a fulcrum right here on this last joint here of our index finger and put our thumb on top here. And essentially we want to be able to do this right here. Just with index and thumb, we want to be able to twist the stick back and forth. You don't have to be doing this fast because it's kind of impossible right now just doing this grip right here. But practice just slowly going back and forth like this, where you're rotating the stick around your index finger just like that with your thumb. It's just this twisting motion. This is really the core of it. And this is something that we tend to gloss over when doing this whole French grip thing. A lot of times, you know, most teachers are like, okay, grip like this, thumbs up, and then do this. Great. But at its core, this is the very first thing that needs to be happening, this twisting motion. And then the rest of the fingers are just helping to reinforce that, which is cool because now we're able to target the fingers and have those fingers operate where wrist is not doing anything, arm is not doing anything, just fingers, but it's these forearm muscles that are, of course, controlling the fingers. So we're talking about finger strengthening, and yeah, there's muscles in your fingers, but really it's these forearm muscles that we're targeting. We're making them work quickly as we train the fingers. So start off doing this right here, nice and slow. You'll have to hold your hand up a little above your pad here so the butt end doesn't hit it. Just practice doing that super slow twisting motion. Once you've got that down, okay, bring in the other fingers. You might find your pinky's not really doing a lot yet. That's okay. It's just this twisting motion back and forth. It'll feel a lot more stable with middle finger and ring finger there as well on the stick, staying in contact with it. And so let's get that happening. Then once that's feeling okay, now let's start hitting the pad. Fight the tendency to bounce. You know, we want to start bouncing, but keep your arm still. Don't let your wrist do anything. We're just isolating this twisting motion, just the fingers. And I find about this tempo, probably eighth notes around 100 beats a minute, is a great starting point. And at this rate, it's not a huge workout yet. That's okay. As you get a little bit faster though, that's when it really starts to become a workout. You'll start to feel a burn. You'll find that you start to get sloppy after doing it for 30 seconds or so. That's where you don't want to go too fast. A great goal is eighth notes at 120. That's a great goal, a great place to be. Now, the faster you go as you're maintaining that stick height, the more pressure you have to put at the fulcrum, and eventually it will start to hurt. That's where you want to stop. Eventually, the point here is not to go super loud and fast because our fingers excel at the light, quick playing. Our wrist excels at the loud, fast, and our arm at, you know, even louder. Rarely do we really need to use our arms in that way though. But fingers are very good at the quick, quiet playing. So we want to work to our strengths there and work to the finger's advantage. And the goal is not to go as loud and fast as possible, but we do want to build strength. So I recommend stopping there around that eighth notes at 120, aiming for that full stick height. And so that's one direction you want to go. It's kind of like, you know, that could be your y-axis, but then we could also have another axis we want to think about here, which is speed, where we want to have a lower stick height, but just see how quick we can go. And gradually get to where we're able to move the fingers very quickly, where it almost just becomes a flicking motion, but it has to be controlled. That's the key. You don't want to just sit here and, you know, it's like you're getting electrocuted. We want it to still be controlled. So this is where you want to be careful and not just dive into as fast as you can go. You'll get there, but try to keep it nice and controlled. But you'll find that with a lower stick height, you're naturally able to go a little quicker, which is cool. Also important, when we're doing loud, when we're doing full stick height and a little bit slower, you want to have the stick out here at this point on your fingers. But what'll happen as we go faster and quieter, we want to actually roll the stick further back. If you think about it, it's just a mechanics thing. Your fingers can achieve more speed on the stick with less effort if you're right here at this place on your fingers than out here. We don't need to move the stick a lot, so we don't need to be out here. We just want quick motion. And so right here is a great place to be. So what you can actually do is allow the stick to move from here for the big slow to here for the quieter fast. And that'll help you out a lot as you're trying to go faster. So remember, think about those two things. We want to do the eighth notes at 120, nice and loud and firm, maintaining the form. That'll build strength. Then we also want to go faster. And that's going to help build strength too. especially as you get this down and as this is feeling good and your form is solid and consistent and your thumb's staying in place the whole time, then pull out a towel. I got a couple of bandanas here that actually aren't great examples. Really, a towel is better. A pillow would be pretty crazy. I don't recommend doing that very soon, but a one layered towel can be great, just so you've got less rebound, and it'll start to give you more of a workout. You can also just play this on your leg. Doing like a quiet French grip exercise like this on your leg, not aiming for a big stick height, literally just doing this. This is a great workout when you can keep it smooth, keep it up for a minute plus. That's a great goal. This is a great exercise to do. Literally just on your leg. You don't even need the practice pad. Now, we're still here in our step one, and there's a lot here in this step one. This is very important. The next two steps are going to be a little bit more simple and I think a little bit more fun, but we've got to establish all this first. Kind of a next area to go. So we talked about, okay, loud and steady and smooth, but not too fast, and then lower stick height and quicker, and then apply it to a softer surface so you're working things out more. What you'll also find, and I totally found this to be true with my fingers, especially with my right hand, was that certain fingers were more capable than others. You'll find that with one of your hands, middle finger just works great. And then the other hand, ring finger works great, and maybe middle finger works terribly. So what you want to start doing is isolating the fingers and practice doing this with just middle finger or just ring finger and even just pinky. Pinky really comes into play more. I know a minute ago I told you when we were first doing this, don't worry if your pinky doesn't feel like it's doing anything. Pinky really comes into play when we're doing those fast, quick ones. Because remember, when we're going slower and louder, we're out here. Pinky's barely making contact. When we roll the stick into here for the quicker, quieter, now pinky can really work because it's out here further away from the fulcrum. There's a lot of power there. So you want to practice that quick and quiet with pinky. And of course, you can do these individual fingers on your leg as well for less rebound. Spend however much time you want to, one finger at a time. You don't have to try to go like back and forth like you're playing piano. That can be kind of ridiculous and not super beneficial because you lose the form. I recommend stick with a finger, spend 30 seconds or so on that finger, and then move to the next one. Nothing crazy, just isolating each finger, do that with each hand. Then go back to all fingers together, and then practice a little louder again, and then go back to your pad, and you will feel like you have finger superpowers because when you go back to the regular surface, you're gonna have all this rebound. And once you've done all of that, stick with it. Remember, this takes some time. It doesn't happen overnight. If it were easy, everybody'd be nailing it. Not that it's that difficult, it just takes some time to build strength and to make sure you're nice and consistent with that grip. But you can do this and give this a few days, give it a couple weeks, then move on to the next step where we want to now start applying this to more normal grip. Because a lot of times the disconnect is, okay, we've got this whole French grip thing going on. That's great. How do we actually apply that when really we're using more of a palms down grip most of the time? That's a great question. Well, a really cool exercise that's a lot of fun, this is kind of cool, is go to more of an American grip. So not full on like German rigid, but not French, but kind of in between, just our standard drum set grip, as I always like to call it. And here at our standard drum set grip, what we want to do is start learning to actually utilize our fingers with this normal grip. What we can do, there's a magic tempo that's right around 140 beats a minute, eighth notes, where at that tempo, you can start bringing in your fingers to actually play those eighth notes. It might feel a little bit clumsy at first, but this is a great way to start activating your fingers in the context of singles before you try to use them in the context of doubles. It'll save you a lot of pain and heartache, because honestly, it's a lot easier to think about fingers in the context of singles instead of doubles. So that's what we want to do here in this step 2. So 140, somewhere right around here. You can clock me if you want to see how exact I am. Right around this tempo is where you want to do this. So you can use your wrist to play these eighth notes. Remember, we're playing quietly, quiet eighth notes. We can play from the wrist. But notice how if we're super loose, our fingers actually start to naturally work too. We can then transition to only using fingers just like this. Now, like I said, it might feel a little bit clumsy at first. That's okay. But see if you can not use your wrist and just use your fingers here instead. And then just to test this out, go back to only using wrist. Then go super loose with your fingers, so it's kind of a little bit of both. Which is the key to transitioning from wrist to fingers, by the way, as you get faster. Because now as we start going a little quicker, that's what we want to aim for. It'll feel more natural to use fingers as the tempo goes up. But I think 140 is a great transition point where even though it's a little slow for fingers, it's a great spot to start introducing them. Then by the time you're at 160, it's feeling a lot more natural. And at that point, you've integrated the fingers into your regular singles, which is then going to make a lot more sense when it comes to the timekeeping, when it comes to the doubles. And so then that can bring us into our step 3 here, which is practicing leg roll doubles. So once you've made these brain connections, once you're building the finger strength and you're now able to use those fingers in the context of singles, even if it's not crazy blazing fast, that's okay. A lot of students are able to really grow with this quickly. I've had some students get to where they're just blasting through these in like a month. That's awesome. If it takes you a little bit more time than that, it's okay. Give it a few days, give it a few weeks, but you'll get to where it starts clicking, it starts making sense. And once you can do these finger singles, remember, not loud, that's the key. Keep your stick height low, quiet. You don't have to be able to keep it up for an hour, just for a minute. But once you can do that, now you're ready to start integrating your fingers into your doubles, which is a great application and a great workout for really going further with this. So when we're doing doubles, what we essentially want to do is use our fingers to reinforce that second note. So instead of we use the fingers to then play that second note. So it becomes wrist, fingers. That's it in a nutshell. I know we're breezing through this. I just want to give this to you in a nutshell. So what we want to start doing is forcing ourselves to use the fingers in the doubles to help even them out. And a great way to do this is the leg roll. My very first drum lesson with my very first drum teacher, he had me do the leg roll. And it was one of the weirdest things to me because he's like, do you know how to play a double stroke roll? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And he said, okay, play it on your leg. So it was like, okay, that's kind of a sloppy mess. And he said, well, you've got to use your fingers more. If you're going to play this leg roll, if you're going to play doubles on your leg really well, you have to use your fingers because there's no rebound. So without the rebound helping you out, your fingers have to compensate, and your fingers will learn to overcompensate to even them out. So then when you move back to the pad, your doubles will sound like singles. That's the goal. We want the doubles to sound like singles on the snare drum or on the pad. And that's what we can achieve here doing the leg roll, because without any finger work, we just get this, where there's a slight bounce there, but we're having to actively go bump up, snap the fingers in to then play that second note. By the way, don't hit your leg hard. Remember, we're keeping stick heights low here as we do this. If you're hitting your leg hard, you're going to hurt yourself. Don't hit your kneecap. Find the sweet spot right up above your kneecap so you're hitting your thigh. Be careful with this. Make sure you're not hitting any bones, and don't hit yourself hard. Go light with this. Remember, you can also accomplish the same thing by folding a towel a couple times and putting it on your pad. I like the leg roll because I think it's kind of cool, the fact that you can just do this on your leg. All you need is a pair of sticks. And by the way, as I'm doing this, I'm also gripping just a little bit further up the sticks. I'm not gripping down here. This would be the loud grip for hitting hard. I'm gripping more up here for a lighter playing, so I've got a little more control over the sticks. That's where we want to be. And look at how low my stick heights are. Not high. That's what we want to aim for, about right in here, and that bounce when we do the doubles is only about right here. But the point is, we're using those fingers to snap the stick down. And so do a little of that every day, as well as the previous couple of steps. And as you're working on this, you're going to find tremendous growth happening with your fingers. And it's going to be amazing. Why is it going to be amazing? Why is this so powerful? What can you do with this now? Well, this is kind of what we talked about back at the beginning. Why is this so important? Why is this so critical? You're going to find that your doubles become more consistent, strong, smooth, and even, which is an awesome feeling. When your doubles are super smooth, that means your hands are even. That means your hands are strong, not getting tired. That means you can play a lot of jazz licks really cool and rudimentary stuff really well. And if you can play your doubles well, that's an indicator that that quick timekeeping is going to go really well too. So you're going to be able to play any quick timekeeping pattern, especially swing. It's going to be a lot smoother now, and you'll be able to sit here and play. It'll feel nice and fluid, and you're not going to get tired, and your fingers are just going to be going, and it's going to be awesome. And in general, your hands just aren't going to get tired. They're not going to get nearly as tired because not only are your wrists working as you're, doing all the general playing you're already doing, but now your fingers are helping out too, and your fingers can help ease some of that load off your wrists and allow things to just flow across much more effortlessly. So this is very exciting. This is a lot of fun. Stick with it. Know that you can do this. Go through these steps. Be patient. Practice this stuff every day, even if it's just 15 to 30 minutes. Give it a few weeks and you're going to find those fingers really strengthening. So question for you as we wrap up, what specifically do you want to get better at right now? So I've told you all the benefits, all the things that are going to happen when you practice this. Which of those things are you thinking, okay, that's the thing I need to get better at? Is it the doubles? Is it the quick timekeeping? Do you just want to not have a weak hand anymore and be able to not get tired? there you go, that might be it. In other words, what's your motivation for working on your fingers? Tell me in the comments below. And hey, before you go, don't forget to enroll in the free weak hand mini course. My gift to you, you got to get your hands balanced out. That's going to help you out so much with everything we've done today. In a way, it's like a prerequisite. So go dive into that course. That's going to be tremendously helpful. Thanks so much for watching. So glad you hung out with me today. I hope this lesson has been super valuable to you. As always, know that you can do this. Stay non-glamorous. I'll see you on the next video.